Ganda umaga po, General. Tama po ba yung pagbigkas ko sa apelyido nyo?
Yes, ma'am.
Bokio.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir.
Magandang umaga po, ma'am.
Gandang umaga po. General, you've spent a substantial part of your career assigned to Sulu. I know that some of the most pristine and beautiful beaches in the Philippines can be found in the area. But how can we improve peace and security in Sulu to attract more tourists and investments?
Again po, magandang umaga po sa lahat. And to the Committee on Defense, ma'am, sirs, good morning. Ma'am, actually, Sulu now is currently on a much improved security situation. We are currently enjoying the relative peace there. As a matter of fact, ma'am, we already conducted the first ever or the historic Sulu Zero's Run last August 31, ma'am. With the participation of the different ultra runners coming from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. I think, ma'am, that's the start that Sulu will be known that it's already a safe place and ready to accept tourists from other areas, ma'am. So I believe, ma'am, that conducting sports activities there in Sulu, it's a driver for tourism, and it will encourage more visitors and tourists to come to Sulu, ma'am. And we need the support. Ma'am, word of the mouth, yung mga nag-participate po dun sa marathon, ultra marathon na yun. I think they will be the ones to say that Sulu is a safer place now, ma'am.
Salamat, General. I can confirm that, Mr. Chairman, because in fact, General, some of my younger friends participated in that Sulu First Ultramarathon at na-appreciate po talaga nila how positive the experience was for them. So makakaasa po kayo ng positive word of mouth mula po sa kanila. That's my only question for the good General. Salamat po, General. Salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, if I may ask
Your excuse,
Yes, Mr.
General Bokio. Yes. Before we proceed, ma'am, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Bongo. Yes, ma'am, please.
Salamat, Mr. Chairman. May I now ask a couple of questions to Brigadier General Joseph Norwin D. Pasamonte?
General Pasamonte, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am and sirs.
Good afternoon, General. General, just for the information of this committee, can you describe the incident that led to your being reprimanded pursuant to Article of War 105?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, ma'am, it is an incident that happened in Surigao del Sur, sir. When I was the battalion commander there, there was what we call the Peace and Development Teams deployment then. I deployed my Peace and Development Teams, and unfortunately, they were ambushed by the NPAs. Even the promotion board thought that the reprimand was not necessary during that time because we did our job. It was part of our duty. And we took all precautionary measures. However, with their familiarity of the terrain and some people who are supporting them, the incident happened, ma'am.
So yung sinabi po ng promotion board that it was not necessary, yun na po yung naging last word on the matter?
Yes, ma'am. And it was, it happened even before I was promoted to colonel, ma'am.
And yet after that, you were still promoted to Colonel, General?
After a few years, ma'am. Because the reprimand has a 1-year ban for promotion and schooling.
I see. Well, thank you for completing the information about this situation to the committee. And belatedly express my condolences about the men you lost in that ambush by the NPA.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes, General. And then can you also confirm that there is a case pending against you before the Ombudsman?
Ma'am, actually, I was not informed about that case until only when I was interviewed by Sam Venezuela, and I was informed that there is a pending case. I do not know that case, but I have a hunch on what the case is. If I may be allowed, I will expound on the matter, ma'am.
Thank you, General. Maybe I can just ask the last part of this last question of mine so that you can also address it in your explanation or your comments on it to the committee. But just before that last question of mine, General, did I hear it right? You were not informed about this case until you were interviewed by? I didn't catch the.
Yeah, Sam Venezuela, ma'am, I think he was assigned to verify my documents.
And Sam Venezuela is our colleague here in the
I do believe so, ma'am.
appointments. Thank you, General. So if you could please, as you explain about this case to the committee, could you please include this last part of my question? And I'm sorry, but as the chair of the Senate Committee on Women and Children, I need to ask, why does the case include an allegation of child abuse pursuant to RA 7610 or the Special Protection of Children Against Abuse, Exploitation, and Discrimination Act?
Ma'am, actually, I have no idea about that one, ma'am.
So please proceed, General, at least to tell the committee about the case pending against you before the Ombudsman and what its current status may be.
Ma'am, actually, I do not know about the case, but my hunch was it is part of our duty to protect the military reservation in Fort Magsaysay. The barangay chairman in the area is cooperating with those who are grabbing the land of Fort Magsaysay. And on our part, we were tasked to protect the land. That's why, as a brigade commander, I placed a detachment there. And the barangay captain before was threatening us that they will file cases against us with the ombudsman. So I just encouraged him to file the case so that it will be made clear. And I also told him that it's not only us who are liable before the ombudsman, but also him. But after that, he didn't approach us anymore.
So if I could guess, the good general is, since as you told the committee, you're not even aware of the case, but posibleng kung may kaso man sa ombudsman, kaugnay po nito yung pagprotekta nyo dun sa military reservation sa Fort Magsaysay.
Yes, ma'am, yun lang po yung aking nalalaman, ma'am.
And so could you further suppose or guess why there was an allegation of child abuse? Because yun po talaga yung nakahuli ng atensyon ko.
Actually, ma'am, wala po akong idea doon kasi ang alam ko lang, nagpunta sila doon sa isang pinagpwestuhan namin na detachment and they were claiming that the land is theirs and yet it is part of the military reservation and that actually, ma'am, yung pwesto, nandun ka, kitang-kita mo na yung airstrip ng Fort Magsaysay. Kaya pinoprotektahan namin yun, ma'am.
Nung pumunta po sila doon, may kasama po ba silang mga anak nila or mga bata?
Wala po, ma'am. Actually, they were with some people who are claiming that the land is theirs.
Maraming salamat, General, for addressing these questions, lalo na po yung may kinalaman sa mga bata. Maybe, Mr. Chairman, moving forward, if there's any way that my committee, the committee, Senate Committee on Women and Children, can assist to further clarify, then we will certainly look into
Yes,
it
ma'am.
seriously. Salamat,
Before that,
Mr.
ma'am,
Chair.
for the information of the body, The Office of the Ombudsman had a clearance. This certifies that our records show that as of 10 May 2022, Joseph Norwin Dantos Pasamonte, Philippine Army, Barangay Kalaanan, Bungabon, Nueva Ecija, has no pending criminal and administrative cases with the Office of the Ombudsman. Issued on May 2022, upon the request of Joseph Norwin Dantos Pasamonte for whatever legal purposes it may serve, by authority of the Ombudsman, Graph Investigation Officer Maria Agnes L. Forteza. It's been cleared, Madam Chair, Secretary, Ma'am Senator Tiveros.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. At muli maraming salamat po, General Pasamonte.
And thank you very much, ma'am, and Your Honors, for giving me a chance to explain my side. Thank you po.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Just have one more question
Yes, please.
three more questions. Just for one last of the officers before us today, Mr. Chair. If I
Yes,
may.
ma'am, please.
Salamat po. I'd just like to ask a few questions of Brigadier General Jose Randolph M. Sino Cruz.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.
Magandang hapon po, General Sino Cruz. Sir, you served as Division Commander and Concurrent Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff for Reservist and Retiree Affairs, 1st Infantry Division. Tama po?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Your Honor.
Salamat, sir. So what do you think po of proposals to update the pension system of our uniformed personnel?
Clarification, ma'am.
Yes, sir. What do you think of any current proposals to update the pension system of our uniform personnel? Or ano po yung inyong mga mungkahi? How we could update that pension system of our uniform personnel?
Sa ngayon po, ma'am, Your Honor, I think the compensation or the pension given to the retirees are already enough sa kanila. Alam po naman natin na during the time of President Duterte, tumaas po yung sweldo ng mga kasundaluhan, mga opisyal. At the same time, tumaas din po yung pension po ng ating mga retirees. Yun lamang po, Your Honor.
Salamat po. I was actually also referring to some proposals na syempre i-maintain yung current na pensions ng mga retirees natin. At the same time, moving forward, i-modernize yung pension system para sustainable po yung kaperahan na both ng ating armed forces at ng pension system ng ating mga retirees.
Sa aking pong opinion, Your Honor, considering that siyempre po kung may magre-retire po every now and then sumasabay po yung taas ng sweldo. Siguro po mas maigi po na ibigay lamang po dun sa nakaabot ng rate na yon, yung salary. But just in case po that darating po yung panahon na tataas na naman po yung sweldo or yung pension, kung sino man po yung hindi nakaabot doon sa ganung rate ay kunwari po ako po kapag nag-retire po ako, kung tataas po in the future, I myself, unfair naman po dun sa nasa service pa na ako ay sasabay din dun sa pagtaas ng sweldo nila. Yun lamang po, Your Honor.
Salamat po, General, also for bringing in that aspect of fairness na hinahanap ng lahat ng bansa siguro para sa sustainability ng pension systems na at the same time kinikilala yung serbisyong ibinigay ng ating mga retirees sa ating bansa. Lastly, General, how do you think our our reservists can be employed most effectively for achieving our national security objectives, particularly with respect to our territorial disputes in the West Philippine Sea.
Sa right po, Your Honor, sa opinion ko po, ang ating mga reservists is talaga mapapakinabangan po sila sa mga disaster relief operations. Yun po kasi yung training na karamihan na naibibigay sa kanila. But in terms of protecting the national sovereignty, we will place them doon sa front line. Siguro po, kung mabibigyan natin ng masigasing na mga training yung maibibigay natin, pwede po. But at the current stage, mas mabuti pong na doon muna sila mag-concentrate sa pagtulong sa mga disaster relief operations natin.
Salamat, General. And I certainly agree with you po na actually nga para sa akin po bilang isang sibilyan, nasa front line ng territorial disputes yung ating paring political and diplomatic leadership. At the same time na kami pong nagtatrabaho sa Kongreso, gustong suportahan yung defense establishment at armed forces. Makamit yung sinasabi niyong layunin ng yung strategic defense posture or capacity. So siguro yun lang po yung mga tanong ko sa inyo, General Sino Cruz. Maraming salamat po. Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. And sa lahat po ng mga opisyal na nandito po sa ating harapan, including, nakapagtanong po ako kasi may family link po ako na nakapagsabi na kasama po sa maraming good men and women dito, no, sina Colonel Leon Ongao Jr. Philippine Army at gayon din si Colonel Eugene F. Lage, Philippine Army. Sa akin din pong mga kabaro na nandito, I'm always proud to see women in the armed forces at mawalang galang sa mga kapatid na lalaki. I look forward one day magkaroon din po tayo ng babaeng Chief of Staff ng Armed Forces of the Philippines. Sa inyo pong lahat, advance congratulations, mabuhay, and my snappy salute. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we proceed, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of Congressman Albert S. Garcia. Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Do you like to recognize first with Senator Bongo?
Mr. Chairman and esteemed colleagues, pleasant day to all of you. Before I express my support sa 50 flag and senior officers dito, naalala ko po si General Sino Cruz and si General Boquillo. Sila po yung unang nakinabang nung batas na inoprobaan po ng Kongreso, ng Senado. Naalala ko yung naging problema ni General Boquillo. Photo finish yung pag-comply niya po sa kanyang requirements. Napakarami po ng requirements, napakakapal po ng requirements dito sa Commission on Appointment. Umabot siya at kaya lang unfortunately hindi po nasalang, nag-recess na po yung Kongreso. At less than 1 year na lang po siya nung panahon yon. So hindi na po siya ma-re-appoint ng current president. So siya po yung unang nakinabang along with the General Sino Cruz. Blessing in disguise siguro na nangyari yon. At siguro 3 years kayo ngayon after pag na-confirm po kayo. Tama ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama ba? Anyway, ang punto ko po dito, nakikiusap po ako as Chairman Romaldo, sir, as Vice Chairman po ng Defense Committee rito sa Senado. Pakiusap ko lang po sa mga kasama natin na tulungan po natin ang ating mga sundalo na mapabilis yung kanilang confirmation, pati yung mga requirements po na hirap ilang araw nilang i-complyan, babalik pa sa kanilang mga trabaho sa field. So tulungan na lang po natin sila, sir, na mapabilis ang kanilang confirmation. Kung wala naman pong problema sa kanilang mga dokumento. Anyway, I'd like to express my utmost support for the ad interim appointments of the 50 flag and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. It is with great pride and honor that I relay my heartfelt gratitude and appreciation to our uniform officers for their invaluable service to the Filipino nation. Mr. Chair, allow me to make of record my unwavering support for the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of General Sino Cruz, Brigadier General Randy Pahilagutan, Commander po ng 54th Engineer Brigade, Brigadier General Eugene Boquillo, Commanding Officer ng 1101st Infantry Brigade, Colonel Jenaline Balauro, Deputy Chief Health Service Center ng Panakan Hospital, Brigadier General Vincent Incognito, Wing Commander po ng 7th Special Operations Wing, Colonel Arwin Payot, Chief ng 11th Finance Service Field Office, Brigadier General Vicente Ronatay, Commander AP Philippine Reserve Command, Major General Ramon Giang, Commander Air Force Reserve Command, Colonel Jose Alan Mendoza, CEO ng Kampanakan Dental, Colonel Noel Abelio, Commanding Officer ng 1st Military Intelligence Battalion. He served po sa PSG noon. Colonel Luna Dilanggalan Jr., Deputy Chief Office Ethical Standards and Public Accountability sa Maguindanao, Brigadier General Romel Roldan, Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff for Personnel AJ1, Colonel Juvenal Mark Tayamen, Chief ng Readiness and Organization, Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations, J3, Brigadier General Ahmad Omar Jr., ang inyo pong ating Chief ng Office of Legislative Affairs. Parati nating nakikita rito sa Senado. And further, Mr. Chair, I also extend my support to the ad interim appointments of Brigadier General Professor Bancos, Brigadier General Stephen Agtoto, Brigadier General Joseph Pasamonte, Brigadier General Rocky Binag, Colonel Richard Esmeralda, Colonel Greg Gesto, Colonel Tomas Seguin, Colonel Harvenio Velenia VI, Colonel Leon Ongao Jr., Colonel Jasper Obar, at ang mga babae nating mga opisyales, Colonel Elaine Nibera, Colonel Maylin Paniban, Colonel Rachel Servito, Colonel Janice Batis Laong, Colonel Lisa Batistil, Colonel Judith Luwayon, Colonel Falvena Aguinaldo, Colonel Madeline De Guzman, Colonel Marbet Avilino, our valiant women in uniform, Colonel Alan Tabudlo, Colonel Eugene Lage, Colonel Melchor Pelobello, Colonel Egberto Dacuscos, Colonel Ulysses Laude, Colonel Romar Canonisado, Colonel Gary Atienza, Colonel Peter Gelicame, Colonel Crisanto Prado, Navy Captain Alfredo De Rosario, Colonel Romil Abayon, Colonel Jumedes Balino, Colonel Jesrel Jagmel, Colonel Elmer Wamil, Colonel Jerry Juele, Colonel Estrellito Romero Jr., Colonel Alan Rudio. Kailangan ko pong banggitin lahat ng pangalan ninyo dahil kami po'y nagpapasalamat sa inyong serbisyo, lalong-lalo na po nung sa pandemya, sa inyong walang katulad na katapatan at pagsiservisyo sa bayan. Maraming salamat po sa inyong sakripisyo. Isa lang po ang paalala ko sa inyong lahat. Unahin niyo po interes ng kapwa nating Pilipino. Salamat.
Thank you, Senator Go. Before we go to entertain to other questions, I'd like to recognize Senator Lauren Ligada, please. Then Majority Floor Leader, then Congressman Zagarbaria, and Congressman Gasataya.
Thank you, Mr.
Ma'am,
Chair.
please.
I have no questions. I simply wish to express my full appreciation and unwavering support for the men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I am grateful and I acknowledge the mention of the doubling of the salary of uniformed personnel and the officers and the men, because if I may mention, Mr. Chair, it was during the Duterte administration and during my term as a chairman of the Committee on Finance when I sponsored Joint Resolution 11, where we doubled the salary of the officers, men and women of the armed forces and the police force as well. Having said that, Mr. President, I will deliver my co-sponsorship speech after you, Mr. Chair, in plenary. And therefore, na sana natin papahabain ang pagtatanong, wala naman po ni isang oposisyon, maski sino po sa kanila, at ako po ay nakikiisa sa magagandang salita at gawa para magbibigay pugay sa ating mga officers, men and women of the armed forces. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, ma'am. Majority Floor Leader.
Well, I support the statement of Senator Loren. Briefly lang, I would just like to ask a brief question kay Colonel Batistil.
Colonel Batistil, please.
Lisa. Mr. Chair, ma'am, you're currently assigned in the 2nd Division in Tanay Rizal, is that correct?
Good morning, Your Honors. Yes, sir. I'm currently assigned with the Headquarters 2nd Infantry Division, sir, at Camp Kapinpin, Tanay Rizal.
De, briefly lang kasi ang ating mga kababayan nangangamba doon sa issue doon sa Masongi J Reserve. Are you familiar with that area? That is within your jurisdiction, di ba po?
Yes, sir. We have the Masungi Geo Reserve area at Baras Rizal.
It's oo. Yung tanong ko lang, Mr. Chair, there's currently a standoff there with armed personnel harassing forest rangers and DNR personnel. Gusto ko lang malaman po briefly, meron bang current operation ng Army to assist the government persons there, the DNR, the forest rangers? Meron ba ho kayong current mandate to protect the area and assist DNR personnel?
Your Honor, the area is within the area of operation of the 2nd Infantry Division. We have also the 1 Infantry Battalion nearby with the Masungi Geo Reserve that's helping out the contested area, sir. In coordination also with the AFP, the PNP.
So there are current AFP personnel currently in the area, in the contested area?
I really could not say much more on that, sir, but with the local LGUs in the area and the PNP, they have been some coordination, sir, in that matter, sir.
So walang Army personnel currently sa sa area?
As I have stated beforehand, sir, we have the 80th Infantry Battalion, sir. That's overseeing within that area also.
No, my question lang po is, meron bang specific company, platoon sa Masungi J Reserve supporting the government personnel there? Di ba may standoff doon? There were reported 30 armed personnel with vehicles.
Yes.
Nagkalat sa social media. And I would just like to ask kung ang Army is assisting.
Yes, sir, we are assisting also, sir, their concern in coordination with the sir, PNP.
Anyway, sige, thank you. I do not want to prolong the hearing anymore and we fully support the members of the armed forces here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Senator Ontiveros.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Just one follow-up question. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Colonel Batistil, if I may just ask one follow-up question. Kasi malapit na po akong mag-file ng resolution tungkol nga dun sa nangyayari sa Masungi Geo Reserve. Dinescribe niyo po yung situation, yung lugar na iyon na contested area. Sino-sino po yung nagko-contest doon?
As far as I've known, ma'am, 2 years ago, there were some forest ranger that were being being
They were shot po, dalawa.
yes, ma'am. So they are under the personnel of this Masungit Reserve, ma'am. So may mga umaangkin din na mga naglalang grabbing po, ma'am. So they have shot those personnel.
Yes, Colonel. I confirm what the Colonel has said, Mr. Chair, and I really hope that we will be able to look into it effectively. Salamat
Yes,
po, Colonel Batistil.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Senator Amy Marcos. Afternoon, ma'am. Congressman Sagat-Barria, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. This is not a question. I am not going to throw any question. This is a form of a manifestation or a request coming from our men in uniform, especially if you are assigned to the different districts or to my own personal district where I represent, for you to come and have a courtesy call so we can discuss matters concerning the community and the district, so we will solve matters together for the betterment of our country. So I just hope, Mr. Chair, that whoever will be assigned among 50 of them to come to us to personally talk, so we will be able to understand what is best for the community and the district for that matter. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Sagat-Barria. I made instructions to our Office of Legislative Affairs of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, that's included today in our confirmation, General Ahmad Omar Jr., that whoever will be assigned in your districts or the request of the senators of the district, we will always be informed, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Congressman Gasataya, please.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. I have no question, just a expression of support to the 50 men and women of our service, Honorable Chair. I'd like to make special mention po sa 5 mga taga Bacolod and province were appointed, Honorable Chair. Brigadier General Stephen Agtoto, Colonel Janice Nina Batislaong, Colonel Jerry Wele, Colonel Richard Esmeralda, and the ad interim appointment of Colonel Jazril Jagmel, all of them from our province and the city, Honorable Chair. So we express our full support for their confirmation. Salamat po.
Thank you, Honorable Gasataya. Yes, Congressman Marcoleta, please.
Chair, maybe you can call back the highest ranking officer for this question.
Can we call back General Giang, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. General, on questioning of Senator Risa on General Sino Cruz, I think the issue of reservist was mentioned. Incidentally, Mr. Chair, there is a pending measure in the House of Representatives. It's about the ROTC measure. It seems to me that in the answer of General Sino Cruz, the reservist issue was taken so lightly. What is your view about this, the ROTC measure, which is pending in the House of Representatives, General?
Your Honor, sir, it is of course a very welcoming gesture for us for this legislation, sir, to be approved, because our ROTC program is one of our reserve force development program in the armed forces, wherein our service, especially in the armed forces, we use them as our base for our expansion in case of crisis, war, invasion, or rebellion, and in case of disaster for HADR, and also to help us in our socio-economic development efforts with the government. So, having IOTC, sir, will have the youth to have more good physical condition, where they will have more nationalism in their heart, and of course, we'll have a better younger generation, sir. And also, the AFP now is ready to give inputs with regards to national security for the legislation of the IOTC, mandatory IOTC for the 11th and for the senior high. That's all, sir.
You're familiar of the history of Singapore, maybe in relation to what we're trying to elicit here. In 1967, the late Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew introduced what they called the National Service. It's a compulsory national service for all 18-year-old male citizens and permanent residents. Are you aware of that, General?
Sorry, sir. I'm not really aware of the national service of the...
You should study that because, Mr. Chair, that's very important. Singapore reoriented their citizens into accepting the necessity of a people's army and to overcome their traditional dislike for soldiering. Alam mo naman ang Singapore, this is a city-state na talagang they enjoyed buying and selling and so on and so forth. Kaya soldiering was very far from their heart. But sa ngayon, makikita naman natin, small as they are, they have the strongest and the best defensive structure in this region. Kaya kung sakasakali, ma-utilize natin ang ROTC, sinasabi mong patriotism is very, very important. This is the only defense weapon we have, and it depends entirely and probably only on how much we love our country. Ito lamang ang paraan para magkaroon din tayo ng the concept of a people's army that will not only help us during times of calamities, but more than that, Mr. Chair, para mapanindigan naman natin as to who we are as a people in this region. You agree, General?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Marcoleta. Yes, Representative Johnny Pimentel, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I just would like to know from the AFP officials, what is now the status or update of our fight against the communist insurgencies, or rather the insurgency? We have been fighting this war for the past 50 years, but until now we could not see the light of day. We know very well that this problem is a hindrance to our development, especially in the rural areas. Ano ho ba ang plano ng AFP? Meron ho ba tayong timetable? Because in the past administrations, there were plans to end it within 6 years, 5 years, but until now, wala pa tayong nakikitang linaw. So ano po ba ang plano natin ngayon for the next several years against this problem?
I'm glad to tell you that the insurgency now is on a continuous decline. However, sir, I have no knowledge of how long can we finish this problem. It's already 4 or 5 decades now. But we are having continuous efforts on this to end this communism, and with the help of the whole of the nation approach with the national community support program of the government, we will hopefully end this very soon.
To summarize it, are we losing or are we winning the war against the insurgency?
Yes, sir. We are winning the war, and it's the strength of the communist insurgencies on a steady decline as of August, sir, I think. already now around 800 plus now.
Accordingly, based on the briefings from the Army, the three most critical provinces in terms of the insurgency problem is Agusan del Norte, Surigao del Sur, in Compostela Valley. Is this true? May mas malala pang problema sa ibang parte ng...
Yes, sir. That's true, sir. That's true, sir. Yes, sir.
So I hope that the Army will do something about this. In our province, we have been fighting this insurgency for the past 42 years. Several military officers have already been killed, and I've said this is an obstacle. How can we develop our province if this problem still persists? So I hope that the military officers or officials will give priority to this area. Kasi ito na lang yata yung last bastion or last frontier of the communist insurgencies. It is good na namatay na si George Madlos. That will at least decrease the morale of the NPAs. But I hope that you will continue conducting the operations hanggang mawala na po ito. Dahil hindi po magiging maunlad ang probinsya namin kung nandiyan pa po yan. And lastly, Mr. Chair, I'd like to manifest my support to Brigadier General Joseph Norwin Pasamonte. He served for 2 years as battalion commander of the 36th Infantry Battalion in our province. And during his stint, he conducted several military operations against the insurgents. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Pimentel. Senator Amy Marcos, please, ma'am.
Yes, a few quick questions only. As mentioned by Representative Pimentel, I would like to follow up on the insurgency situation in this country. Are we allowed to go to other officers, please?
Yes, ma'am, please.
I would like to call on Brigadier General Ahmad Omar Jr., please.
General Ahmad Omar Jr. He's also our current Office of Legislative Affairs, Armed Forces of the Philippines for the Senate and the House, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Nice to meet you then. We'll have to be calling on you. I think apropos of Representative Johnny Pimentel's query, an investigation report shows that you were part of the DND-TWG for the eventual enactment of the anti-terror law. In your experience, has this new law been helpful in the fight against terrorism? It appears that you're quite the expert.
The Armed Forces is very glad that the Anti-Terrorism Act was enacted, and the Anti-Terrorism Act prevents and prohibits espousing terrorism in our country, and it helps, ma'am. Because allow me to check my data, ma'am. On local terrorist group, ma'am, we continue to reap significant gains through our continuous focused military operations against local communist groups. As of first semester of 2022, there are only 108 local terrorist group members, a reduction from 478 in 2021. The local terrorist group consists of Daulama Islamia, ASG, Bayepe, Mauti, Magid, Turaupe, and Hassan Group. Specifically for the ASG in Basulta areas, there are only 76 active ASG members with 33 affected barangays in Sulu. From 01 January, ma'am, to 31 August of 2022, the AAP has neutralized 307 local terrorist group personalities. ASG 100, BIF 163, and Daulama Islamia 44. The AAP also employs non-combatant programs like preventing and counting radicalization and violent extremism, effectively address the local terrorist group and help the government build resilient communities, ma'am.
Thank you very much, General. I needed to put that on record. I think that will be all, General. Thank you very much. That's valuable input. We need that data in our centralized base.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is General Pasamonte around? Just needed to clear up
General
something.
Pasamonte, please.
Yes, General Pasamonte, the investigation report indicates that you were reprimanded in 2012 for negligence and poor supervision. Now that you bear even greater responsibilities as a general, does the commission have any assurance that the same mistake will not recur?
Good afternoon, ma'am, Your Honors. As earlier, ma'am, I have already answered the question, but just
sorry,
to repeat it,
sorry.
ma'am, the reprimand was given to me, but even those in the promotion board deemed it unnecessary for the reprimand because it was part and parcel of the duty.
Okay.
And actually, we took all the precautions that we could be done. However, unforeseen circumstances led to my men being ambushed.
Yes, thank
But
you.
rest assured, ma'am, that as I grew in the service, I became more vigilant. And I assure you, ma'am, that it won't happen again, ma'am.
Yes, we learn best from these type of lessons. I was a member of the commission in the last Congress, and then the commission was furnished with a copy of a complaint in 2021 to the ombudsman by a certain Mr. Enipto accusing you of grave abuse of authority. Is that complaint settled because it has not been furnished to the commission this Congress?
Ma'am, as also I have answered before, I was not even informed of the complaint. But I just had a hunch on what the complaint is about. And it was, I think, about the land, Fort Magsaysay, in a military installation. It is being grabbed by some of the people.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I heard that you already answered that earlier. Thank you very much. I have no further questions, General. And yes, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
May I call on General Ronatay?
General Runatay.
Yes, General Ronatay, just to clear the air here, an investigation report submitted in the 18th Congress. I was a member of the commission then. Opposition was filed against your confirmation for pending administrative case, violation of Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. If it is true that you had an administrative case during the time said opposition was filed, what was the disposition of the case? Has it been dismissed?
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, Your Honors. First, let me explain the issue. Indeed, there's a complaint filed against me. But of course, let me introduce myself. For 20 years, I've been, there is no criminal, administrative, or any complaint filed against me in my military service for 32 years. But as soon as I assumed the position of the commander of Appropriations in January 10 of this year, 3 days after, a case was filed against me by a reservist commander who we terminated the position because by existing policy of GHQ, not only of GHQ policy, but of course of the law, permits only a 2 years tour of duty for a major responsibility positions, such as the complainant. But as soon as I implemented a legal order from GHQ to terminate the complainant, a case was filed against me at Ombudsman. But as far as I know, the Ombudsman referred the case to the GHQ, and the resolution was already filed dismissing the case as for lack of merit.
Thank you very much, General. We would like the dismissal or a copy thereof to be submitted to the commission so that your records are clear here to on after.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, I also have a clearance from the Ombudsman as well as the other clearances required for this particular confirmations, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Let that be a part
Senator
of the
Amy.
file, General.
Yes, before you proceed, we already had a copy. I give you a copy of the clearance of General Vicente Mendoza Ronatay, issued on 8 July 22, and he has no pending criminal administrative cases with the Office of the Ombudsman, ma'am.
Oh, thank you very much to our chairman. Thank you. That's all, General Donatay. It's already in order. Okay, one last question, Colonel Gesto, please. Maraming salamat
Thank
po.
you.
Congratulations.
Colonel Gesto.
Colonel, pasensya na lang, may konting reklamo kasi dito. Ang balita, number 25 ka daw dun sa Reserve Officer Seniority and lineal list of Lieutenant Colonels in the Philippine Army, yet you were promoted ahead of 12 other Lieutenant Colonels because all of them had a lesser quantitative rating score than you. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng quantitative rating score?
Afternoon, Your Honors. Quality rating sheet, ma'am. It's a sort of platform in the Army wherein all qualities or qualification are being rated, ma'am. So, example of which is the geographical assignment, the completion of different criteria of assignments and quality of result of our accomplishments, ma'am. So we are being rated and scored based on that rating, ma'am.
Thank you very much. So it's actually a qualitative as well as a quantitative rating score and merely proves your mettle as an officer. I just wanted to put that complaint aside. I have no further questions. Many thanks to Colonel Gesto and congratulations. Ang masasabi ko lang po, we are in good hands because of the great number of Ilocanos being confirmed and promoted this morning. So I'm very proud to recognize my fellow Northerners, Colonel Aguinaldo, Colonel Panganiban from Isabela, Colonel Obar Ongao from Kalinga, Abelio, Balino, Tayamen, Rujo, and Romero. We are definitely in good hands. Daitoy ti amyanan. Congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Ivy. Yeah, Congressman Garcia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning to our colleagues in the commission at sa ating men and women, officers of the AFP. Magandang umaga po. Mr. Chair, I've been a mayor, a congressman, a governor, and now a congressman once again in the province of Bataan. And 3 decades ago, no one would believe that Bataan will be insurgency-free because of the prevalence of insurgents in the province. But because of the support of our AFP, the Philippine Army, Bataan is the first province in Region 3 that has become insurgency-free. And pre-pandemic, we had one of the lowest poverty incidents. Kasi after peace and order comes development, and with development, jobs. Kaya malaki po ang utang na loob namin sa AFP at sa Philippine Army. At of course, yung nagka-pandemic, our economy went under. Pero ang laki rin po ng role ng Philippine Army at ng AFP sa mga border controls, sa security, at iba't ibang support delivery of vaccines sa ating mga mga barangay at iba't ibang bayan sa lalawigan. Kaya today, I'd like to express my vigorous support to the ad interim appointment of 50 general and senior officers in the armed forces of the Philippines. Maraming salamat po sa inyong serbisyo sa lalawigan ng Bataan at maraming salamat po sa inyong serbisyo sa ating bayan. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning.
Thank you, Representative Garcia. Majority Floor Leader.
Mr. Chair, I move to recommend to the plenary for the commission to confirm the ad interim appointments of the said named 50 general and senior officers in the armed forces of the Philippines. I so move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion being seconded with honorable members. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is hereby approved.
Mr. Chair, there being no other matters to discuss, I move to adjourn the meeting.
On motion of the majority floor leader, there being no objection, being seconded, the meeting is hereby adjourned. Congratulations!
Kabuhay ang armed forces!
Quorum ba tayo? Kasi mapasok ba yung mga yan pag may quorum? Pero,
Plenary session of the Commission on Appointments, the first regular session of the 19th Congress is hereby called to order. May I call on our distinguished colleague, Representative First Biron, to lead the chamber in prayer.
Let us all pray. Almighty Father, creator of heaven and earth, we humbly come before you as we prepare to confirm the appointments of our public officials, including our military officers. We all recognize that there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. The book of Proverbs, chapter 1, verse 7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." We submit to your wisdom as we continue to pray for the leaders of our beloved Philippines, from our president, our vice president, our Senate president, and all senators, our speaker, and all representatives, and the rest of our elected and non-elected officials, so they may continue to seek your knowledge, strength, and mercy. We thank you for your faithful provision and divine protection. We seek forgiveness for all the shortcomings that we had committed. As your stewards and servants, we pray that you will preserve and prosper our land as we all endeavor to serve the Filipino people with utmost dedication. We give you back the honor and glory in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Bella persino la funzione sarebbe fuori cuore tu vieni tu nel bello che sa e di capacity sa se si poi la sarà e può toccare mai più la sarà la linea dopo la cuida mai nada
I request the Secretary to please call the roll of members. Secretary.
The honorable members of the Commission on Appointments, Maria Lourdes Nancy S. Binay, Virginel G. Biron, Alan Peter Compañero S. Cayatano, Joseph Victor G. Ejercito, Francis Cheese G. Escudero, Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, Albert S. Garcia, Greg G. Gasataya, Christopher Bong Go, Ramon N. Guico Jr., Risa Ontiveros, Lauren Legarda, Oscar Oka G. Malapitan, Rodante D. Marcoleta, Aimee R. Marcos, Lani Mercado Revilla, Jose Gay G. Pajernos, Johnny T. Pimentel, Grace Poe, Jurdin Jesus M. Romualdo, Manuel T. Sagarbaria, Francis Tol N. Tolentino, Luis Raymond L. Ray F. Villaferte Jr., Cynthia A. Villar. The chair is present.
With 21 members present in the plenary hall, rather, and one present online, total members present are 22. The chair declares the presence of a quorum. Joint Leader.
Mr. Chair, I move to dispense with the reading of the journal of the plenary session held on September 20, 2022 and consider the same as approved.
If there is no objection to the motion, majority floor leader, the motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, may we now proceed to consider the recommendation of the Committee on Foreign Affairs on the nomination of 3 officials in the Department of Foreign Affairs.
If there are no objection to the motion of the majority floor leader, the motion is in order.
Mr. Chair, I move that the chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, be recognized.
We'd like to recognize the distinguished gentleman from the city of San Juan, Senator Joy Estrada.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairperson, distinguished colleagues, this representation is happy to report that your Committee on Foreign Affairs also acted on the nomination of Voltaire de la Cruz Mauricio as Chief of Mission Class 2 and found him to be fit and qualified. Our nominee has been with the Department of Foreign Affairs since 2002, and this year marks his 20th year in the Philippine Foreign Service. He started as a special assistant in the Office of the Undersecretary for Administration in the DFA and worked his way up to the organization to become acting project manager of Machine-Readable Passport and Visa Project, Director of the Multilateral Affairs Division of the Office of Strategic Policy, Planning and Coordination, First Secretary and Consul of the Philippine Embassy in London, United Kingdom, and Acting Head of Office of the Department Legislative Liaison Unit. He is currently the Consul General at the Philippine Consulate General in Osaka, Japan, and was cited for spearheading the first Philippine consular mission in Kurume City, Fukuoka, where a large population of Filipinos reside. He was also lauded for his role in maintaining strong trade relations between the two countries. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, it is my privilege to recommend that this body give its consent on the nomination of Voltaire de la Cruz Mauricio as Chief of Mission Class 2. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may we recognize to second Representative Ramon N. Guico Jr.
Mauricio.
Ay, pamatalo.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, we'd like to recognize the distinguished Vice Chairperson of the Commission Appointments, Congressman Wico.
Mr. Chair, and my esteemed colleagues, I am proud to make it of record my support and second the motion of the recommendation of the Committee on Foreign Affairs for the Commission to give its consent to the nomination of Consul General Voltaire de la Cruz Mauricio to the rank of Chief of Mission Class 2. Our nominee, known as Balls to many, electrifies the people around in more ways than one, at least with good ones. The profile investigation report of Patlis says he is an affectionate type of person who displays great deal of concern and sensitivity to the needs of others. His nickname Bolts likewise speaks a lot about his energy and passion for work and public service. He is credited for the notable supervision of the implementation of the machine-readable passport and visa project from 2003 to 2005, which is one of the biggest technological projects of the Department of Foreign Affairs. He is likewise cited as First Secretary and Consul, Philippine Embassy in London, and concurrent permanent representative alternate for the United Nations International Maritime Organizations from 2013 to 2019 for his various accomplishments. These are just two of the many citations our nominee received throughout his career in the DFA, and the list of his notable accomplishments will go on and on until several. Truly, our nominee deserves this rank promotion. And so, Mr. Chairman and distinguished colleagues, I second the recommendation that this commission give its consent to the nomination of Consul General Voltaire de la Cruz Mauricio to the rank of Chief of Mission Class 2. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Greg G. Gasataya.
I believe he's shaking his hand. Yes, no manifestation.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the majority, we support the nomination.
There being no objection to the nomination, the commission hereby gives its consent to the nomination of Mr. Voltaire de la Cruz Mauricio as Chief of Mission Class 2. Congratulations, sir.
Mr. Chair, I move that the chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, be again recognized.
Senator Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, this representation as chairman of the Committee on Foreign Affairs presided over a public hearing this morning to consider and deliberate on the nomination of Mylene De Hoya Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of a Chief of Mission Class 1. Your committee, after deliberations, has determined that she is fit and qualified and ruled to recommend her nomination to the plenary for the consent of this body. Our nominee is no stranger to many members of the Commission. She is a friend and a dear colleague who represented the people of the 2nd District of Davao City for 3 consecutive terms from 2010 to 2019 and was elected by her peers to be their Assistant Majority Floor Leader and Deputy Speaker. She is the loving wife of Isabela Governor, 4th-term representative, and former Majority Floor Leader of this body, Governor Rodito Albano. Her life of public service is a confluence of her being exposed to the high-profile responsibilities of her father, former Assemblyman of the Batasan Pambansa and member of the House of Representatives, Congressman Manuel Nonoy Garcia, and the quiet sacrifice of her dutiful, selfless mother, Erlinda De Hoya. An achiever all her life, she graduated with 2nd honors from Ateneo de Manila College of Law, became the first female president of their student government, and placed 3rd in the 1990 bar examinations. She sharpened her legal acumen as an associate of the Ponce Enrile, Cayatano, Reyes, and Manalastas Law Office under the mentorship of former Senator Rene Compañero Cayatano. She later served as a legal assistant at the Office of the Chief Presidential Legal Counsel, as an Executive Director and Assistant Secretary of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and then as Chief of Staff in the Office of Senator Mar Rojas. Prior to her nomination, she was a member of the Board of Directors of Davao City International Airport Authority as one of the private sector representatives. Noting such extensive work experience both in the government and in the private sector, as well as her personal credentials and achievements demonstrating her competence, high standard of leadership, and dedication to service, I hereby endorse our nominee to become the first female ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, it is my distinct privilege to recommend that this body give its consent on the nomination of Mylene De Hoya Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of Chief of Mission Class 1. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize to second Representative Ramon Kiko Jr.
Our distinguished Vice Chairman of the Committee on Commission on Appointments, Congressman Guico, is recognized.
Mr. Chair, and my esteemed colleagues of this body, it is my great pride and privilege to second the motion on the recommendation of the Committee on Foreign Affairs that the Commission gives its consent to the nomination of Attorney Mylene Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of the Chief of Mission Class 1. Needless to say, our nominee epitomizes the perfect combination of beauty and brains. No wonder why she easily captured the heart of the incumbent provincial governor of Isabela, Rodolfo Rodito Albano III, my ever brutally handsome and dashing friend who has a prominent member of the majority floor leader of this august body from 2016 to 2019. Our nominee has an exemplary academic records, a consistent honor student, a scholar, and distinguished herself as number 3 bar top dancers with a rating of 88.95% in the 1990 Philippine bar examinations. Mylene, as she is fondly called by colleagues, family, and friends, is described as an upright, highly principled, cultured, and articulate individual. All this characterization befit someone who can truly represent our country to a host where uprightness and principle are highly regarded. The vast and extensive public service experience of our nominee, ranging her practice of law to her stint in various executive department offices and her 3 consecutive terms as representative of the 2nd District of Davao City, no doubt on her skills and competence to take on this strategic and historic ambassadorial post. Our nominee will distinguish herself as the first female ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. Mr. Chairman and distinguished colleagues, it is for these reasons and for that I second the recommendation that the Commission give its consent to the nomination of Attorney Mylene Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of a Chief of Mission Class 1. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, sir.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Senator Lauren Legarda.
Distinguished Senate President Pro Tem and our colleague from Antique, Senator Lauren Legarda, is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, today I have the distinct honor of introducing to you our nominee, Ambassador Designate of the Philippines to Japan, Mylene Garcia Albano. It is a privilege to have known a woman who sets a high standard in leadership, one who is armed with a discipline and determination to get things done. This is evident in her journey even before she began her legal career. Neither marriage nor marital duties to her spouse, a friend of all of us, the incumbent provincial governor of Isabela, Rodolfo T. Albano III, proved to be distractions in her pursuit of academic and leadership excellence then. I wonder why my colleagues are laughing, because this is meant to be serious. Yes. Maybe it is a presence of our beloved governor from Isabela. She was a consistent Dean's Lister and graduated salutatorian at the Ateneo de Manila University School of Law. At the same distinguished law school, she earned the distinction of being the first female student council president. Ambassador Milen Garcia Albano ranked third in the 1990 bar examinations. Shortly thereafter, she worked as an associate at the Ponce Enrile Cayatano, Reyes and Manalastas Law Office. Attorney Milen Garcia Albano also served in the executive branch as Assistant Secretary at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. She later joined the legislature and served in Congress as representative of the 2nd District of Davao for 3 terms, following the footsteps of her late father, former Congressman Manuel Nonoy Garcia, whom I knew when I was very new in politics in the party Lakas when I was a young senator. Her youngest brother, Congressman Vincent Garcia, is the incumbent representative of the same district in Davao City. Milen's sense of duty and her eagerness to execute enormous tasks are not alien to her. She is consistently reliable. Her track record and dedication to public service will reaffirm the already strong bilateral relations between our country and Japan. Her compassion in serving the people first is a central tenet in ensuring the safety and well-being of the over 285,739 Filipinos living in Japan. Mr. Chairman, distinguished colleagues, it is therefore a privilege and an honor to join the sponsor in moving for the confirmation of the nomination of, I must confess, a high school classmate and a group mate way back when, and a colleague in government, Milen J. Garcia Albano, as the ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Johnny Pimentel?
Representative Johnny Pimentel of the province of Surigao del Sur is recognized.
Mr. Chair, the Honorable Maylene Garcia Albano is a product of 2 families with strong roots to the legal profession. Her maternal great-grandfather, Batangueño, former Supreme Court Justice Mariano H. De Hoya, was a government pensionado who graduated from Indiana University in Yale Law School in the early 1900s, who became a top legal practitioner before and after the war. And so was her maternal grandfather, Attorney Mariano R. De Hoya Jr. Attorney Mylene's grandfather was a lawyer and former Davao City Mayor Leon Garcia. And her father was former Congressman, whom we all know, Manuel Nonoy Garcia, who was the Deputy Justice Minister of former Justice Minister Estelito Mendoza in the 1980s. With his strong legal lineage, a young Maylene was educated at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. for her undergraduate ABD degree in political science, after which she finished her law studies at the Ateneo de Manila with 2nd honors and was the student council president during her senior year. No small feat for this school of blue-blooded, erstwhile male-dominated future lawyers. Jumping off from law school, she placed 3rd in the 1990 bar examinations, which the distinguished senior member of the Senate minority, Senator Coco Pimentel, topped. Not one to rest on her academic laurels and good name, Attorney Maylene Garcia Albano embarked on creating her own reputation. slowly and patiently, as she practiced law at the distinguished offices of the Ponce Enrile and Cayatano Law Office and the Villarreal Law Office before deciding to join the government. She climbed the long ladder of government service in the executive and legislative branches of government, with positions in the Presidential Legal Counsel's Office of President Fidel Ramos, the DTI, DNR, and the Senate Majority Floor Leader, Senator Mar Rojas' office. Her next position was in Congress, where she served for 3 terms, where she chaired the Committee on Constitutional Amendments and was Deputy Speaker during her 3rd term. Through all these positions in government, Attorney Mylene Albano has served well with utmost tact, intelligence, diplomacy, and grace. It might be argued that other than her spouse, my good friend, former Congressman and now Governor Rudito Albano, a former majority leader of our August Commission on Appointments, her one ardent supporter who has always believed in her capabilities has been former President Rodrigo Duterte, who worked with the Garcia family of Davao City for the betterment of their city mates. From Attorney Garcia Albano's father, Manuel Nonoy Garcia, to our colleague in Congress, Vince Garcia, to Attorney Mylene Albano, as these respected, hard-working legislators represented Davao City and its 2nd District through 13 congressional or parliamentary terms dating back to 1978. Much as we have seen Attorney Mylene Garcia Albano perform at the highest level in her different positions in government, I wholeheartedly believe that she will be a strong representative and conduit of the Filipino people to the land of the rising sun, Japan, one of our most important trading partners. Mr. Chair, I therefore have the honor and privilege to second the motion for the confirmation of Attorney Mylene Garcia Albano as Philippine Ambassador to Japan. So moved, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Lani Mercado Revilla.
Our distinguished colleague from the great province of Cavite, Congresswoman Lani Mercado Revilla is recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and fellow CA members. Good afternoon. Described as upright, highly principled, cultured, and articulate, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Mylene Garcia Albano is undoubtedly the right woman to serve as our country's top diplomat and representative to the Empire of Japan, our nation's closest friend and respected partner. Having been elected as Davao City's 2nd District Representatives for 3 consecutive terms during the 15th, 16th, and 17th Congress, I can vividly remember that Attorney Mylene Garcia Albano rightly served as our Assistant Majority Leader in the 15th Congress and Chairperson of the Committee on Constitutional Amendments in the 16th Congress. She rose to the position of Deputy Speaker in the 17th Congress. Her illustrious record in public service can speak for itself. Having been known for her professionalism, high standard of leadership, efficiency, integrity, and dedication, it is just right that we affirm her nomination and will justly earn her the historic distinction of being the first female ambassador of the Philippines to Japan. For 66 years and counting, the strong and ironclad friendship between Japan and the Philippines reaped mutual benefits and reached historic milestones. Year after year, our peoples and bilateral relationships celebrate our shared history. Moreover, we affirm our trust and mutual understanding as well as solidarity and committee. I second the motion as we nominate Attorney Milen Garcia Albano as our People's Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary Chief of Mission Class 1 to our embassy in Tokyo. Ambassador Milen, you have our confidence and full backing as you fulfill your mission as our country's top envoy to the land of the rising sun and work for the protection and prosperity of our overseas Filipinos and of children with Filipino heritage. And may this ever-blossoming friendship and partnership never wither. Sama-sama, tulong-tulong para sa ating minamahal na bayan. God bless all the works of your hands. God bless the Philippines. Salamat.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Greg Gasataya.
Majority Leader, he's shaking his hand.
Okay. May we now recognize Representative J.G. Romualdo, please.
Mr. Chair, distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, Attorney Milen Garcia Albano comes from a Davao City family that with deep roots in public service. Her great-grandfather, Tomas Monteverde, migrated to Davao late in the Spanish era and became Davao Municipal Gobernadorcillo during the Spanish times and Davao Municipal President during the early American era. Her grandfather, Leon Garcia, migrated to Davao as a young lawyer, attracted by the growing agricultural interest of Japanese abaca planters. After the Second World War, Leon Garcia became Davao City Mayor from 1946 to 1948. It may not be widely known anymore today that Davao Municipality, which was populated by less than 10,000 people at the start of the American era in 1899, became a booming abaca town for 4 decades, much to the credit of Japanese investor farmers who made Davao a little Japanese town, then called Davao Kou. At one point, just before the advent of the war, 26,000 Japanese resided in Davao City. Thus, it may be said that the roots of Davao City as a boom town were planted by the Japanese. And after they left, pioneering migrants from Luzon and the Visayas transferred to Davao to make use of the rich, fertile land that was first tilled and made productive by the Japanese. Attorney Milen's father, the late lawyer Manuel Monteverde Garcia, was a top-notch, respected national legislator, having sat as an interim Batasang Pambansa Assemblyman, a member of the Parliament at the regular Batasang Pambansa, and 3-termer member of Congress from 1992 to 2001. Manuel, or Nonoy, was the minority floor leader of the Commission on Appointments during the last term from 1998-2001. After a stellar stint at the Ateneo College of Law, where Attorney Milen became the first ever lady president of the school's student council and a second honors graduate. She finished 3rd place in the 1990 bar examinations. She could have pursued lucrative career as a private law practitioner, but she chose to eventually go into public service, working her way up from being an executive assistant at the Department of Trade and Industry to legal assistant at the Office of the Presidential Legal Counsel under Attorney Renato L. Cayatano, to Assistant Secretary for Local Government Affairs, and subsequently for Legal Affairs at the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Then she became the Chief of Staff of Senate Majority Floor Leader Senator Mar Rojas. She was then elected to Congress representing the 2nd District of Davao City for 3 successive terms, the 15th, 16th, and 17th Congresses. And on her last term, she was elected as Deputy Speaker from 2016 to 2019. In Congress, the undersigned had the opportunity to interact with her on several occasions on policy issues and legislative concerns when I was a member of the Commission on Appointments on my last term from 2004 to 2007 when we have committee meetings and plenary sessions here at the Senate. She's a very cordial, intelligent, refined, respectable person in our conversations in the House of the Senate and in Congress, where she was a colleague of my father, the late Congressman Pedro Malarca Romualdo, during the 15th Congress. Davao City, the third biggest trade center in our country, had its beginnings as a boomtown from the hard work of Japanese farmers a century ago. It is with a deep sense of pride for us to have the first woman ambassador of the Philippines to Japan, the person of Honorable Milen Garcia Albano, who hails from Davao City. She understands the high esteem and deep value of the Japanese government and its people to the Philippines. She respected the contributions of the innovative Japanese people that turned Davao into a boom municipality then, and how Davao has evolved now with a very rich culture and heritage. It is therefore my honor to strongly recommend our unqualified support, and second, to Attorney Milen Garcia Albano to become our next ambassador to Japan.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Ferge Biron?
Our distinguished colleague from the province of Iloilo, Congressman Ferge Biron, is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, my dear colleagues of the Commission on Appointments, Attorney Milen Garcia Albano is the first female nominee whose appointment is to be confirmed since we first assembled. And once appointed, she shall be the first female ambassador to of the Philippines to Japan. In this milestone, I am therefore eager to express my full support to the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Attorney Milen Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan. Attorney Garcia Albano excelled all her life. She took up law in Ateneo de Manila University School of Law, where she was a consistent dean's lister. She was dubbed the first female president of the student government, graduated with second honors, and thereafter ranked third place in the 1990 Philippine bar examinations, garnering an impressive grade of 100% in remedial law. Notably, she was the only woman among the top 10 bar top-notchers in her time. Beyond academic excellence, she has a natural proclivity to leadership. In recognition thereof, she was awarded the Evelio Javier Leadership Award in law school. She was distinguished for her work in both public and private sectors. Through her experience working in the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, under prominent politicians, and in reputable law offices, she has honed herself in the field of law, human affairs, management, and legislation, which I believe are skills that are useful in the performance of ambassadorial functions. She reportedly gave up pilates when she joined politics and served as representative of the 2nd District of Davao City for 3 consecutive terms during the 15th, 16th, and 17th Congresses. Nevertheless, I am certain that she will still be flexible enough to maneuver the processes and operations of the Philippine Embassy in Japan. A woman of substance to the core, Attorney Garcia Albano is without doubt competent to be Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan. With a feminine touch, she can efficiently discharge the duties of an ambassador, work for peace, support prosperity, and extend aid and protection of the state to Filipino citizens, travelers, visitors, and residents alike in Japan. I truly believe that the representation of the state in the shape of a woman, such as Attorney Garcia Albano, will be a successful feat in a country dominated by men. I therefore second the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Attorney Milen Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Rodante D. Marcoleta?
Congressman Rodante Marcoleta of the party list Sagip Pamilya man, is recognized. My distinguished colleague.
Mas nakikita kita rito, Mr. President. Sir President, distinguished colleagues, the good diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Japan has resulted in extensive work in development cooperation in a broad range of areas, including infrastructure, energy, maritime security, disaster management, agriculture, health, education, and peace and development in Mindanao. By far, Japan has been and continues to be one of the biggest supporters of the country, and with such precedent, the forging of even stronger ties in the face of the current global socio-political climate cannot be overemphasized. Mr. President, sending an ambassador to Japan in the person of Attorney Milen Garcia Albano is a testament to the ever-growing relations between our two countries. Milen Garcia Albano is a double-bred provinciana and daughter of the late Congressman Manuel Nonoy Garcia and Erlinda de Hoya. At an early age, Milen already learned and practiced how to be of service to others and always ready to be counted when things get rough. A consistent honor student since grade school, she and her cousins were sent to Manila and lived as internas while completing their high school. She went to the United States to finish her college education. Choosing to follow her father's footsteps, Milen went to law school. And by now we know already that she was third placer in 1990 bar examinations and became pride of Ateneo de Manila University, or the law school, for being the only female who landed in the top 10 for that year. She was also the first female student ever elected president of her school's student government. After a fulfilling private practice and short stint in several government agencies, Milen ran for Congress, representing the 2nd District of Davao City. I was fortunate to have worked with her, Sir President, during the 15th and 17th Congress. Again, she was the first woman ever to serve her district in that capacity. Mr. President, I will venture to say, without fear of contradiction, after having survived 34 years of marriage, and more than that, Mr. President, after taming and domesticating her naughty, restless, flamboyant, rambunctious, exuberant governor of Isabela, I think that is already a feat in itself, Mr. President. A solid testimony that Milen Albano Garcia has already mastered the intricate art of diplomacy. Having said that, Mr. President, I will lend this voice to second the motion of Milen Albano Garcia's being ambassador to Japan. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Salamat po, Congressman Marcoleta.
Rambunctious. Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Abet Garcia.
The distinguished gentleman from the great province of Bataan is recognized, Congressman Garcia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. I would like to make a brief but strong manifestation and to second the confirmation of Attorney Milen Garcia Albano as the ambassador of our republic to Japan. Attorney Milen hails from the better Garcia clan of Davao. I would concede to that, and that is probably and most likely true. But Mr. Chair, what is without question, and everyone would probably agree, is that Attorney Milen is the better half of her husband, Governor Rodito Albano, our dear friend. Attorney Garcia Albano's exceptional academic, and track record have distinguished her above others. She has been consistently recommended for many accomplishments, starting off with her illustrious career by ranking third in the 1990 Philippine Bar. Through many years of public service, including numerous terms as the 2nd District Representative of Davao, and also in various capacities, she has gained recognition for her leadership and professionalism. It is with great honor that I recommend that this body gives its consent to the nomination of Attorney Mylene Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan, where she will be the first Filipina to assume the post. I truly believe that Ambassador Mylene Garcia Albano will represent our country exceptionally and will passionately work and commit to further strengthen Philippine-Japan ties. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Senator Alan Cayatano?
Distinguished colleague from Taguig and Pateros, Senator Alan Cayatano is recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Senate President, our dear colleagues, Mr. Vice Chairperson. Sabi po sa Biblia, kung anong ating itatanim, yan din ang ating anihin. Now, we live in a country na isang bansa po tayo na kung saan tayo pinanganak at kanino tayo pinanganak ang malamang mag-determine ng ating buhay. So if you were born to a very powerful and rich family, malamang you will have the best education, the best health services. You will have all opportunities. Pag may assignment ka, you can interview secretaries, members of Congress, senators, ambassadors. But even if you were born to a well-to-do family, kung hindi ka sa malalaking syudad, kung medyo sulok-sulukan ka ng Pilipinas, pinanganak, at kahit na medyo makapangyarihan ang pamilya mo doon, kung ang peace and order situation doon ay hindi masyadong maganda, maaring bala, bullets instead of books ang nasa kamay ng iyong mga anak. So I mentioned this, Mr. Senate President, because after listening to the qualifications, the experience of our nominee, everyone is convinced that she's the right person for the job. But sitting here and discerning about our future, you know, first, I'd like to again pay tribute to Prime Minister Abe. During the time that the Philippines and the U.S. had a rock relationship in the Duterte administration, the Japanese stepped up. Prime Minister Abe played the role of bridging, which was the exact opposite of World War II, where the U.S. and the Philippines were the close allies and our enemies was the Japanese. And I'll go back to that later. Exact opposite then nung Commonwealth, that the Philippines was said to be one of the best positioned countries. Second lang tayo sa Japan noong 1960s. Pero ang Japan, after the atomic bombs, ay dapang-dapa. So I'd also like to pay tribute to Ambassador Laurel. He did an incredible job. If there's one person that I think could do the same or even better, it's of course our nominee here today. She's the perfect person for the job. But Ambassador Laurel did an extraordinary job, you know, of building those bridges, strengthening those bridges. Kung titignan niyo po, napaka-importante pong post, and let me speak as a former Secretary of the Foreign Affairs Department. Lahat po kasi nasa Japan eh. Yung ating historical ties, sabi natin Christian nation tayo. Eh paano tayo magiging Christian nation if we cannot love our enemies? So from a very bitter past, I remember the Senate President is my batchmate. If we talk to our grandparents about the Japanese or tell them na magpa-partner ka, talagang babatukan ka, pagsasabihan ka, because yung atrocities nung time na yon, no, yung horrors of the war, of the death march, di ba, of what was done to Filipinos and of course to Filipinas during that time, no. But over the years, we found a way to love our enemies, and the Japanese have found a way to go beyond reparations. And if you look at the economic, for example, side, you go to the airport, Japanese aid, financing, and technology. You go to our trains, karamihan yan, Japanese pa rin. You talk about different kind of technologies from agriculture to manufacturing and everything. Japanese pa rin yan, no? But if you look at OFWs, from the 80s, no? Nag-graduate na tayo dun sa mga problematic areas katulad nung Japayuki era, no? Ngayon makikita mo mga premium ang mga trabaho sa Japan. Even po doon sa agriculture. Mahirap na trabaho, pero ang turing sa mga Pilipinong nandun parang mga anak. Pagdating sa security, although sa constitution ng Japan, di ba, may limitation sila. But from equipment to our coast guards to training, lahat po ng pwedeng gawin, lalo po sa ating mga maritime issues and problems and challenges ngayon. Even sa sharing ng intelligence po, nandyan sila. Pagdating po, taga Mindanao ang ating Senate President and many of our members here. The Japanese have always been involved in peace and development in Mindanao, no?
Barm, especially.
Yes, in areas that were very contentious, no?
Yes.
So my point is, Mr. President, kung gusto natin baguhin ang Pilipinas, the friendship of Japan and the Philippines is very important. The model of Japan na dapan-dapa after the war, but within 30 years, with one generation, one of the strongest economies in the world, no? Makikita mo po sa atin, nung nag-announce ng educational assistance, grabe po ang tulakan, grabe po ang pila, grabe po ang banatan sa social media nung nag-announce ang DSWD ng assistance. Sa Japan, makikita mo, nagka-tsunami na, nasusunog na yung bahay, sugatan na, nakapila pa rin yung mga tao. At may disiplina pa rin, no? I won't go into ROTC, that's a different issue at napakaraming mga general na nasa likod ko. But ang point ko po is that the relationship of Japan and the Philippines can be a roadmap, the histories of the two countries, no? So for me today, it's also a roadmap because I started out with a relationship as a brother kay Governor Albano. Then he turned out as an enemy for a few months. But through his wife, we are now friends again and hopefully on the road to recovery. I will not disagree with the Vice Chairperson out of parliamentary courtesy and interparliamentary courtesy when he called the governor brutally handsome. I will just say that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Okay. But having said that, my father, Senator Rene Compañero Cayatano, has always found beauty in diligence, hard work, creativity. Ang panahon nila, di pa uso nun lahat ng mabilis. Di pa uso nun yung microwave, instant messaging and everything, no? And Ambassador Milen, my father was always proud of her. And if he was here today as a senator, I'm sure he would say that he's proud of you, Ambassador to be Albano. So in behalf of the minority, we also endorse her confirmation. Thank you, Mr. Senate President. And
Maraming
Mr.
salamat. Maraming salamat.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the majority, we support the nomination of Ms. Maylene Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary and emoluments of a Chief of Mission. I will, ipigilan ko na lang po ang sarili ko to say things about Rod, but all I can say is the Philippines is in good hands with Ambassador Milen. Maraming salamat and I so move, Mr. Chair.
Yes, if I may also give just a few short remarks. I've known Milen for a very long time because, first of all, I had the honor and privilege to serve with her father in the 11th Congress, together with Alan Cayatano, Congressman J.J. Romualdo, and Senator Amy Marcos. We were all members of the 11th Congress. And then with your brother, Vince Garcia, who will never to this day, never forget to send me jokes on text message. And you're considered, the family, gentlemen and ladies, are considered as royalty in Davao, as one of the hijos de Davao. And because of that, she followed in an illustrious career as a three-term congresswoman of a district in Davao. And what is the gain of the foreign affairs as an ambassador is actually a loss, if you ask me, for the executive department, because I really think that she would have been a great secretary of cabinet rank. Sayang, but we're sending her to Japan, which is an equally important mission, as already mentioned by my colleagues, Senator Cayatano and the other members. Your appointment to that post, Madam, is very historic. You're the first woman ambassador to Japan. That will be in the history books of this nation. And at the same time, you bring to the table a brilliant mind, top of her class, and also a bar top-notcher. And she also has a heart for the people. It's a combination of EQ and IQ. Very difficult to find in people. Some people have a lot of IQ, no EQ. Some people have a lot of EQ, very little IQ. This is a perfect combination. Yes, sabi ko sayang, magaling sana tong cabinet secretary. But I'm sure as ambassador to Japan, you will be a great mother to our OFWs there. I'm sure they're looking forward to having a mother this time to take care of the tens of thousands of OFWs in Japan. But my word of advice, Ambassador, when you give your credentials to the Emperor, because that is what happens when the ambassadors are appointed to Japan, make sure you watch your husband very intently. Keep him away from the cherry blossoms and the koi gardens, the koi ponds. And that is a joke that only us legislators know. But also, I'd like to congratulate your husband because he's a dear friend, member of the Northern Bloc, as well as a classmate of the 11th Congress. So I'm sure you're in good hands when we visit Japan, and all our OFWs there will be in need of your assistance. Ambassador Milen will be an extraordinary ambassador. So with that, without further ado, there being no objection to the appointment or nomination of Mylene Garcia Albano as Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary to Japan with the salary emoluments of Chief of Mission Class 1, we hereby give the consent. Congratulations po. Blow out, blow out. Yan natin. May we proceed, Your Honors, as we have a session in the Senate in a bit.
Mr. Chair, I move that the chairperson of the Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada, be again recognized.
Senator Jinggoy Ejercito Estrada is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is our next nominee still awake?
Ay, oo nga pala. Dapat inuna natin siya.
Are you still awake?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Chairperson, distinguished colleagues, this representation also reports that your Committee on Foreign Affairs acted on the nomination of Val Simon Taganas Roque as Career Minister. Our nominee joined the DFA in 2004 and was initially posted in Hong Kong in 2007 as Vice Consul of the Assistance to National Section and as Consul General and alternate representative to United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific, Philippine Embassy in Bangkok, Thailand. It is worth mentioning that among his notable accomplishments is his significant contribution in the handling and successful resolution of various cases of overseas Filipino workers in distress and victims of human trafficking. Your committee expresses confidence in the nominee's professionalism and competence, as it hereby recommends that this body give its consent on the nomination of Val Simon Taganas Roque as Career Minister. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize to second Representative Ramon Gico Jr.
Our distinguished Vice Chair of the Commission, Congressman Guico, is recognized.
Mr. Chair, and my esteemed colleagues, this representation would like to second the motion on the recommendation for the Commission to give its consent to the nomination of Bal Simon Taganas Roque to the rank of Career Minister. Mr. Roque has been noted, cited, and commended for his valuable work in the successful handling of various cases and repatriation efforts concerning our distressed overseas Filipino workers in Hong Kong and Thailand. Our nominee's passion and dedication to work and to serve our fellow countrymen must have always occupied his every moment of every day, making him forget his love life and remain single until today. Single pa siya eh. But don't preach single blessedness is a noble vocation just like a married life is. Mr. Chair, my esteemed colleagues of this body, I take pride of this very hardworking, competent, and intelligent diplomat, and to it's my privilege to second the recommendation for the Commission to give its consent to the nomination of Bal Simon Taganas Roque to the rank of Career Minister. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the majority, we give its consent to the nomination of Mr. Val Simon Taganas Roque as Career Minister.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the minority, we support the confirmation of for Career Minister Mr. Bal Roque.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Without further ado, so that this gentleman can sleep, I think it's 4 or 5 a.m., 7 a.m. So he was up all night. And we thank him for his patience. There being no objection to the motion of the majority leader, the Commission hereby gives its consent to the nomination of Mr. Val Simon Taganas Roque as Career Minister. Congratulations, sir.
Mr. Chair, may we now proceed to consider the recommendation of the Committee on National Defense on the ad interim appointments of 50 general and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Is there any objection to the motion? There being none, motion is approved.
Mr. Chair, I move that the chairperson of the Committee on National Defense, Representative J.J. Romualdo, be recognized.
The distinguished gentleman of the beautiful island province of Camiguin, home of Mount Hibok-Hibok, Congressman J.J. Romualdo is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the Commission on Appointments, good afternoon again. This representation as chairman of the Committee on National Defense presided over a public hearing this morning to deliberate on the 50 ad interim appointments of general and senior officers in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Your committee, after deliberating on their qualifications and fitness during the public hearing, determined that they are fit and qualified to be promoted to the ranks where they are appointed, and therefore ruled to recommend to the plenary for the Commission on Appointments to confirm their ad interim appointments. Mr. Chairman, I move that the Commission confirms the ad interim appointments of 50 general and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, namely Ramon J. Giang to the rank of Major General, Jose Randolph M. Sino Cruz to the rank of Brigadier General, Eugenio C. Boquio to the rank of Brigadier General, Stephen V. Agtoto to the rank of Brigadier General, Vicente M. Ronatay to the rank of Brigadier General, Joseph Norwin D. Pasamonte to the rank of Brigadier General,
Proceso S. Ribancos to the rank of Brigadier General, Rocky J. Binag to the rank of Brigadier General, Romel P. Roldan to the rank of Brigadier General, Ahmad U. Omar Jr. to the rank of Brigadier General, Randy F. Fahilagutan to the rank of Brigadier General, Vincent B. Incognito to the rank of Brigadier General, Jasper Edward D. Obar to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Cresanto G. Prado to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Jumedes P. Balino to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Egberto O. Dacoscos to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Eugene F. Lague to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Leon L. Ongao Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Arwin A. Payot to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Juvenal Mark T. Tayamen to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Ulysses V. Lode to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Alan Peter D. Rodio to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Romel R. Abayon to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Alan J. Tabudlo to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Estrelito P. Romero Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Noel A. Abelo to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Melchor John P. Pelobilio to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Elmer A. Wamil to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Lisa B. Batistil to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Judith B. Luayon to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Greg P. Gesto to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Jerry H. Uwele to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Dato Luna D. Dilangalen Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Jezreel J. Diagmel to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Madeline D. Didi Guzman to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Richard R. Esmeralda to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army, Alfredo C. Del Rosario to the rank of Captain, Philippine Navy, Thomas Ryan R. Sigin to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Air Force, Peter George R. Gelicame to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Air Force, Gary L. Atienza to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Air Force, Romar A. Canonisado to the rank of Colonel, Medical Administrative Corps, Jose Alan P. Mendoza to the rank of Colonel, Dental Service, Harvinio Omar E. Velenia VI to the rank of Colonel, Dental Service, Pavina R. Aguinaldo to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps, Maylin T. Panganiban to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps, Jenaline B. Balauro to the rank of Colonel, Nurse Corps, Rachel P. Servito to the rank of Colonel, Nurse Corps, Marbeth D. Avelino to the rank of Colonel, Nurse Corps, Janice N. Batisla Ong to the rank of Colonel, Nurse Corps, Elaine Inivera to the rank of Colonel, Nurse Corps. That's all, Mr. Chair. I so move.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize to second the nomination, Senator Lauren Ligarda.
Our distinguished Senate President Pro Tem, member of this commission, and former representative of Antique, Senator Lauren Ligarda is recognized.
Mr. President, fellow members of the Commission on Appointments, It is with deep sense of pride and honor to co-sponsor the confirmation of the promotion of these 50 strong men and women of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Their presence in this chamber does not only validate that they are fit and qualified as they rise in the ranks of the AFP organization. The sound of the gavel today is also a manifestation of their loyalty to our flag as faithful defenders and movers of our democracy all these years. I laud their unyielding commitment to protecting our people and serving our country as senior officers of the Philippine Air Force, Philippine Army, Philippine Navy, and Marines, and our armed forces, nurse, dental, medical, and medical administrative corps. I commend our AFP officers for living by the hallowed values of honor, service, and patriotism while putting their lives on the line to continue their veritable mission of upholding peace and national security. Their selfless service to our country ensures that every man, woman, and child is safe and protected. Saludo po ako at taos-pusong nagpapasalamat sa serbisyo ng ating hukbong sandatahan at sa patuloy na pag-alay nila ng kanilang buhay para sa kapayapaan at pagkakaisa ng ating bansa. Mr. President, in front of us today are among our most valiant gatekeepers of peace and unity, who best exemplify how to love this country. It is therefore my honor and my privilege to move for the confirmation of their promotions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Ramon Gico.
Our distinguished Vice Chairperson Ramon Gico is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, esteemed members of the Commission, once again, good afternoon. I would like to manifest my full support for the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of the 50 brave men and women officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines present today. I wish to express my profound gratitude to the appointees for their valuable service to the Filipino nation. I applaud your accomplishments and courage, both in the battlefield and in your non-combatant missions. Please continue to serve your country with passion so that our countrymen will always enjoy the peace and unity they deserve. Mabuhay po kayo.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Representative Greg Gasataya.
Our distinguished colleague from Bacolod City, Congressman Greg Casataya, is recognized.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, mayong hapon bisanan. It is this representation's pleasure to second the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Brigadier General Stephen Vidor Agtoto. Mr. Chairperson, Your Honors, Brigadier General Agtoto and this representation share very similar roots in Bacolod City. We grew up in the same neighborhood in Burgos Street and spent elementary and high school, our formative years at the West Negros College, now University, and at the Maranatha Christian High School in the City of Smiles. He graduated high school at the top of his class in the batch immediately succeeding that of this representation. Raised by a pastor and a teacher, Brigadier General Agtoto surely lived up to his parents' expectations and became the stellar, disciplined army man and academic that he is today. Mr. Chairperson, aside from ranking 13th out of 241 in the Philippine Military Academy batch of 1994 and taking up and finishing with flying colors countless military courses, Professor Brigadier General Agtoto also finished his masteral and doctoral degree in public management in 2016 and 2019, respectively, from the University of the Philippines. He likewise holds another master's degree in public management, concentrating in development and security from the Development Academy of the Philippines in 2019. Honorable Chair, Your Honors, Brigadier General Agtoto, the current Dean of the Court of Professors of the AFP, is first in the seniority and lineal list of captains, colonels, Court of Professors, regular component when they were recommended for promotion to Brigadier General. This gentleman, Mr. Chairperson, distinguished colleagues, is a recipient of 22 military merit medals, has 13 military commendation medals, including a military civic action medal, outstanding achievement medal, distinguished service star, and parangal sa kapanalig ng sandatahang lakas ng Pilipinas throughout his 32 years in the military service. Your Honor, knowing the nominee personally and knowing his professional capacity since we were kids, it is my honor, Mr. Chair, that this representation will second the motion for the confirmation of the ad interim appointment of Brigadier General Stephen Agtoto, as well as the 49 other appointees. Salamat po, Honorable Chair.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, may we now recognize Senator Bongo?
Our distinguished colleague from Davao City, Senator Bongo, is recognized.
Mr. Chairman and esteemed colleagues, allow me to make of record my support and further to second the motion to confirm the ad interim appointments of the 50 flag and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. It is with great pride and honor that I relay my profound gratitude and appreciation to our uniformed officers for their invaluable service to the Filipino nation. Our country will forever be grateful for your unparalleled service to the Filipino people and for continuously ensuring our safety. Ako po ay taus-pusong nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat, sa inyong walang katulad na katapatan at pagsiservisyo sa ating bayan, lalo na po sa panahon ng pandemya. Patuloy niyo lang pong pagservisyohan ng ating mga kababayan at unahin ang interes ng bayan at interes ng gobyerno. Maraming salamat at mabuhay kayong lahat.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the majority, we support the ad interim appointments of the 50 general and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Thank you. There's also Senator Tolentino is raising his hand as well.
Sorry. May we now recognize Senator Francis Tol Tolentino?
Mr. President, I associate myself with our esteemed colleagues who earlier seconded the motion to confirm the nomination of this gallant 50 men and women behind us today. I was privileged likewise, Mr. President, more than 8 years ago to have been standing there and I was confirmed as a Brigadier General. And now I know how it feels, Mr. President, but these men and women behind us has one step and one hard work character ahead of us. And they have imbibed in their hearts, in their daily lives, the concept of integrity, honor, and valor. For those reasons, Mr. President, I join our esteemed colleagues in supporting all these men, sons, the proper equipment, lack of resources, among others, yet they have shown that spirit which was started 86 years ago when the Armed Forces of the Philippines was founded. I so move, Mr. President.
Thank you, General Tolentino.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the majority, we support the ad interim appointments of 50 general and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Mr. Chair, on the part of the minority, we support the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of the 50 general and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Thank you, Majority Leader, if I may as well. Once again, I would like to just put on record our deep appreciation of the service that each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen of the Armed Forces, give to our country. We are here today in plenary session because of the sacrifices you made and the freedom of speech and the democratic way of life that we are enjoying is because of our men and women in uniform. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. With that, the Commission confirms the ad interim appointment of the 50 generals and senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. Congratulations, gentlemen and ladies. Majority Leader.
Mr. Chair, there being no other matters to discuss, I move to adjourn.
Before we adjourn, we'd just like to ask the ambassador and the other members of the DFA to join us for a picture photo opportunity there, which after we'll ask the generals as well. There being no objection to the motion of the Majority Floor Leader, the session is adjourned.